Robert was a volunteer firefighter, but he was also a teacher. He taught sixth grade, but he was 6'3", so he kind of towered over the children, and he was called the gentle giant at the school, and he did a lot of things for the kids. He was crazy enough that when they did their unit on the Middle Ages, he dressed up as a jester. When they were doing math and they were doing things with ratios, he brought in M&Ms so they could decide how many reds were versus how many greens. And he even collected cross-country skis so that he could take the kids out cross-country skiing after school. So he was very good. In fact, I met Bob when I started teaching at the same school he did. And we had a faculty picnic at the beginning of the school year, and I was in charge of getting a fire going because we were making, hot dogs and hamburgers. And of course, as typical, people say, never let me plan anything. It was raining. And so he came out to see if he could help with the fires, which is really funny because it's a good thing he was a firefighter because he couldn't start a fire to save his soul. I had been grilling for a long time. That was something we did in our family. And he, as I said, tried to help so much, but grilling was not his thing until he got a propane one. If it was starting a fire, I had to do it. But we met that day, and we spent a lot of time together, and turns out we liked a lot of the same things, and so we started going together. And then we were married, and it was funny, we talk about people dancing, you get to dance cheek to cheek. Well, as I said, he's 6'3", and I'm only 5'4", so when we danced, I managed to have my heart on his heart, my head on his heart, and so that was very special. We ended up having 2 boys, and we spent a lot of time boating and traveling, went to a lot of national parks, did some camping, and one of the jokes was we had an old-fashioned video camera, when they first came out, these big things, and he was carrying it. We have lovely pictures of the sidewalk of St. Louis and his feet because he had the camera going as he was walking down the street. So here it is swinging and getting pictures of the sidewalk. So that we joked for a long time about the fact that he was such a great videographer that we have some really interesting pictures. But we spent a lot of time, as I said, doing things out of doors because he really liked that. And with the fire department, he was very concerned about, this is a volunteer department, families and what happened, dinner, alarm goes off and off they go. So he did a lot for the families, and so he was in charge of the kids' Christmas party for a long time, and he helped. We had an Easter event, and we had a Halloween event, and so he helped set up a haunted house. So he was really involved, and I think truly missed by a lot of people, both in Spencerport where we lived and in the Byron Virgin community where we both taught, and he definitely is missed by my family, my sons and myself. So he had a heart as big as all outdoors, and when he felt something was important, he gave that whole heart to what he was going to do. And so the fire department was important to him. He got to the point where he had been in enough years that he didn't have to go to every call, but he was still getting up in the middle of the night for those trash fires and doing that kind of thing, because if he was into something, he was into something. It wasn't half-hearted. And the same thing with his family. He made sure that he did things with the boys and went on Boy Scout outings and things because that was what he had to do. And so that giving his whole heart to everything. He had to get in and get his hands dirty and get work, and he couldn't stand by. Actually, he told me that's why he liked me, because I was willing to get my hands dirty.